I called my parents. Dad answered on the second ring. "Sweetheart," he said, and his voice was thick. "How's our boy? Scared? Brave? Both?" I pressed my palm to my forehead. "Dad, I just need you guys here. I know it's a lot to ask, but don't you dare finish that sentence." His voice went firm, the tone he'd used when I was 16 and trying to apologize for needing him. "We're family. This is what family does. Your mother's getting dressed right now. We'll be there in 90 minutes. The surgery's at 2. We'll be there at noon. Earlier if I can manage it." I exhaled. "Thank you." "Nothing to thank us for, honey. This is where we belong." After we hung up, I walked down the hall to Oliver's room. He was sitting up in bed, clutching the stuffed elephant Rebecca had sent him 2 weeks ago when we'd scheduled the surgery. Mr. Trunk, he called it. The elephant's left ear was nearly worn through from being rubbed so many times. "Hey, Bug," I said softly. He looked up and my heart, my whole, undamaged, reliable heart, nearly broke at the expression on his face. Trust and terror fighting for dominance. "Is it time?" "Not yet. We've got a couple hours." I sat on the edge of his bed. "But I have good news. Grandma and Grandpa are coming. Uncle Marcus too. Aunt Rebecca is going to try to make it." His face lit up. "Really? Everyone?" "Everyone," I promised. "They all want to be here for you." "Even Aunt Rebecca? But she's busy with the wedding stuff." My sister was getting married in a week. The planning had consumed her for 6 months. Every conversation somehow circling back to centerpieces and seating charts. But she'd promised. She'd looked me in the eye 2 weeks ago and said, "Nothing is more important than Oliver." "Nothing. Even Aunt Rebecca," I confirmed. "You're more important than any wedding, remember?" Oliver hugged Mr. Trunk closer. "Will you tell them I said thank you for coming?"
"You can tell them yourself, baby. They'll be here soon." At 1:30, I started checking my phone obsessively. At 1:45, I called my mother. It went to voicemail. At 1:50, I tried my father. Same thing. The nurse came in at 1:55. She was kind-faced, middle-aged, with the sort of calm competence that probably saved lives just by existing in crisis. "It's time," she said gently. Oliver's eyes went wide. "But where's Grandma? Where's everyone?" I felt my stomach drop. "They're coming, Bug. They're just traffic, probably. You know how the interstate gets." "But you said," his voice cracked, "you promised they'd be here." "They will be. They're probably in the parking lot right now." I was lying. I could feel it in my bones, heavy and sick. Something was wrong. "When you wake up, they'll all be there. I promise." The nurse gave me a look. She'd probably seen this before. Families who promised and didn't show. Kids who learned too young that love comes with conditions. "I am scared," he whispered. I climbed onto the bed with him, careful of his IV line. "I know, baby, but I'm going to be right here the whole time. I'm not going anywhere." "But I want Grandma." "I know." "I want Uncle Marcus." "I know, baby. I know." They let me walk with him down to the surgical wing. I held his hand until the last possible second, watching his face as they wheeled him through the double doors. He was crying silently, tears running down into his hairline. "Mom," he called out, his voice small. "I love you," I said. "So much, Oliver. So much." Then he was gone. I stood there for a long moment, staring at those closed doors. Then I turned and walked back to the waiting room, pulling out my phone. 7 missed calls, all from Rebecca. My hands were shaking as I called her back. "Oh, thank God," she answered immediately. "Listen, I know you're probably furious, but we had a crisis. Where are you?" "At the bridal shop. We had an emergency appointment. The dress sizing was all wrong, and if we didn't fix it today, there wouldn't be time before the wedding, and Mom had already coordinated with the seamstress." I couldn't breathe. "You're at the bridal shop?" "I know how it sounds, but you have to understand. Oliver is in surgery right now. They took him back 15 minutes ago." Silence on the other end. "You promised," I said. My voice sounded strange, distant. "You all promised." We're going to come right after this, I swear. He was crying for you, for all of you. He wanted his family, and no one was there. That's not fair, Rebecca said, and now there was an edge to her voice. We wanted to be there, but this literally couldn't wait. And my son's heart surgery could? Don't do that. Don't make this into something it's not. We'll be there in 2 hours, tops. The surgery's gonna take longer than that anyway, right? So we'll be there when he wakes up. I hung up. For the next 4 hours, I sat alone in that waiting room. I watched other families come and go, clusters of people holding each other, crying together, celebrating together. I watched a father get down on his knees when the doctor came out with good news. I watched a grandmother press her rosary to her lips while she waited. I sat alone. The surgeon found me at 6:15. Dr. Patel was young, competent, with steady hands and kind eyes. Mrs. Hayes, she said, and smiled. Oliver did beautifully. The repair went exactly as planned. He's in recovery now. The relief was so intense, I thought I might vomit. He's okay? He's okay. We'll monitor him closely, of course, but all the signs are positive. You can see him in about 20 minutes. Thank you, I managed. Thank you so much. She squeezed my shoulder and left. I called my mother again. Still voicemail. I texted the family group chat. Oliver's out of surgery. He's okay. 3 bubbles appeared immediately under Rebecca's name. Then stopped. Started again. Stopped. No one responded. Part 3. Waking up. Oliver opened his eyes at 7:30. I was sitting beside his bed, holding his hand when his lashes fluttered. Mom? His voice was rough from the breathing tube. I'm here, baby. Right here. He blinked slowly, trying to focus. The anesthesia was still heavy in his system. Did it work? It worked perfectly. Your heart is all fixed. A small smile. Then his eyes moved past me, scanning the room. Where's... My own heart clenched. They couldn't make it, Bug, but they sent their love. Grandma didn't come? No, honey. Uncle Marcus? No. His face crumpled. Even through the fog of drugs, I could see the hurt settling in. But they promised. I know. You said they'd be here when I woke up. I know, baby. I'm so sorry. He turned his face away from me. 7 years old and already learning that promises break. That love isn't always enough to make people show up. I wanted to rage. I wanted to scream. I wanted to gather him up and run somewhere far away where no one could hurt him ever again. Instead, I stroked his hair and hummed the lullaby I'd sung since he was an infant. My voice cracked on every other note. Part 4. 50 cents. For 3 days, no one called. No one visited. The hospital room felt smaller with every hour. Oliver was healing well. Dr. Patel was pleased with his progress. But something else was breaking. Something I couldn't see on a monitor or fix with medicine. He stopped asking about them after the first day. Just went quiet whenever I mentioned Grandma or Uncle Marcus, his face closing up like a door slamming shut. On the 3rd day, my phone rang. Rebecca. I almost didn't answer, but I was tired, and part of me still hoped for an apology, an explanation that would make sense of the senseless. How's Oliver? Healing. No thanks to anyone but the doctors. I deserve that, she said quietly. I know we messed up. We all know it. Grandma's been crying for days. Good. That's harsh. Harsh? I laughed and it came out bitter. My son had open heart surgery and not one of you showed up? But please, tell me more about how harsh I'm being. I said we messed up. I don't know what else you want from me. I wanted you to be there. Past tense. That ship has sailed. Silence. Then, listen, I'm actually calling because we need to talk about something else. The shift in her tone made me sit up straighter. What? The dress situation is still a disaster. The seamstress fixed the sizing, but now they're saying the alterations are going to cost way more than originally quoted. We're short about $5,000. I couldn't speak, couldn't process what I was hearing. I know the timing is terrible, Rebecca continued, but we're desperate, and we know you have that savings account, the emergency fund. We wouldn't ask if it wasn't critical. Are you serious right now? I know how it sounds. Do you? My voice was rising. A nurse glanced through the window. I lowered it with effort. My son just had heart surgery. You abandoned him to shop for a wedding dress, and now you're calling to ask me for money? It's not just about the dress, Rebecca said, defensive now. It's the whole wedding. We've put everything into this. If we can't fix the dress situation, the whole thing falls apart. Let it fall apart. You don't mean that. I mean every word. You chose a dress over a child, over Oliver. Now you want me to pay for that choice? No. We have access to the account, Rebecca said, and now her voice had gone cold. You set up Dad and me as emergency users, remember? For situations like this. Situations like your wedding dress. Emergency situations. This qualifies. Then use it. Go ahead. Take the money. What? I mean it. If you think a wedding dress is worth stealing from your nephew's emergency fund, then do it. Show me exactly who you are. I hung up. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped the phone. Oliver was asleep in the bed, his chest rising and falling steadily under the hospital gown. A 7-year-old who'd been brave enough to go into surgery without his family because he trusted them to be there when he woke up. I opened my banking app. The savings account showed $47,000. I'd been building it for years, squirreling away every spare dollar against disaster, against moments exactly like this one, when we needed help and had nowhere else to turn. My father and Rebecca were listed as secondary users. They could transfer funds if I was incapacitated. It had seemed smart at the time, a safety net. Now it was a target. I transferred $46,950 into a new account they couldn't access, left 50 cents in the original. Then, I called the bank and removed them both as authorized users. The woman on the phone was professional. I've processed those changes, Mrs. Hayes. Is there anything else I can help you with? Actually, yes. Can you add a memo to the account? Something they'll see if they try to log in? Certainly. What would you like it to say? I looked at Oliver, at his small chest with its fresh scar, at the stuffed elephant clutched in his sleep. For the veil, I said. Part 5. Accusations. The calls started an hour later. First Rebecca, then Marcus, then my father, then Rebecca again, then all three in a conference call I declined. The texts were worse. You stole from us. This is illegal. We're calling the bank. We had a verbal agreement. You're destroying this family. All of this over one day? He's fine. The surgery went fine. You're being vindictive, petty, cruel. I blocked them all. But Marcus showed up at the hospital that evening. I found him in the waiting room, pacing like a caged animal. You can't be here, I said immediately. He spun around. You stole from us. Lower your voice. This is a children's hospital. $47,000, he hissed. Gone. You transferred our emergency money. My money, I corrected. My savings. My account. You were authorized users, not owners. We had an agreement. We had nothing in writing. And even if we did, that agreement was for emergencies. Real ones, not wedding dresses. His face went red. You're punishing Rebecca for a scheduling conflict? A scheduling conflict? I stepped closer. My son's heart surgery was not a scheduling conflict that got bumped for a dress fitting. You all made a choice. Every single one of you. You chose her wedding over his life. That's not fair. He asked for you, I said, and my voice broke. When he woke up, he asked where everyone was. Do you know what that felt like? Trying to explain to a 7-year-old that his family chose centerpieces over him? Marcus flinched. We were going to come right after. You weren't. You know it, and I know it. You were going to show up 6 hours later and expect him to be grateful for the scraps. Expect me to pretend it didn't matter? Well, it mattered. It mattered to him. So you're cutting us off permanently? I'm protecting my son. That's what parents do. We're his family too. Then act like it. I could feel the exhaustion dragging at me, heavy as gravity. You want to be in his life? Earn it. Show up. Actually show up. But I'm done begging you to care.
You left 50 cents in the account, Marcus said. His voice had gone quiet. Dangerous. As what? A joke? No, I said. As a reminder. That's all your promises were worth. He stared at me for a long moment, then turned and walked away. I went back to Oliver's room and cried in the bathroom for 20 minutes. Part 6. Rebecca. My sister showed up the next morning with coffee and tears. Please, she said, standing in the doorway like she was afraid to come further. Please just talk to me. I looked at Oliver. He was awake, coloring in a book the hospital had provided. He glanced up at Rebecca, his expression carefully blank, then went back to his drawing. That look, that learned indifference, made my decision for me. 5 minutes, I said, in the hall. We stood by the nurse's station. Rebecca looked terrible, her eyes swollen and red. Her engagement ring caught the fluorescent light. I'm sorry, she said immediately. I am so sorry. We should have been there. Yes. I don't know what we were thinking. You weren't thinking about Oliver. That's the problem. She flinched. The dress situation was such a crisis. The wedding is in 4 days and everything was falling apart. Rebecca, I kept my voice level with effort. Oliver's heart was literally falling apart. They cut open his chest. Do you understand that? They stopped his heart, fixed it, and started it again. And you were picking out a veil. I love him, she said, and now she was crying. I love Oliver so much. Love isn't just a feeling. It's a choice. It's showing up when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when you're scared. I could feel my own tears building. He was terrified. He cried for you. He asked for grandma. He wanted his uncle. And all of you chose a party over him. That's exactly what it was. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and showed her the account balance. 50 cents. This is what I think of funding a wedding that was more important than my son's life. Rebecca's face went pale. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious. That money was for all of us. That money was mine. I worked for it. I saved it. I gave you access in case of emergency. Your dress is not an emergency. The wedding, I don't care about the wedding, I said, and meant it. I don't care if you get married in a burlap sack in someone's backyard. I care about Oliver. That's it. That's the only thing that matters. So this is punishment. No, I said. This is a boundary. There's a difference. What's the difference? Punishment is about making you feel bad. A boundary is about protecting him and myself. I'm done letting you treat us like we're optional. We only matter when it's convenient. Rebecca wiped her eyes. I don't know how to fix this. You can't. Not right now. Maybe not ever. I looked back through the window at Oliver, still coloring, still so small in that hospital bed. But if you want to try, start by actually showing up. Not for me, not to get the money back. For him. Because he deserves family who chooses him. I do choose him. Then prove it. She left without another word. My father's letter arrived on the 5th day. It came by courier, an actual paper letter in an envelope, like something from another era. The nurse brought it to me during morning rounds. I almost threw it away unopened. But Oliver was sleeping peacefully, his monitors steady and strong, and I had nothing else to do but sit with my own anger. So I opened it. Dear Sarah, I'm writing this by hand because I don't trust myself to say these things out loud without trying to defend or explain. You deserve better than my excuses. We failed Oliver. We failed you. There's no explanation that makes it right. There is no excuse that absolves us. Your mother and I made a choice that day. We prioritized your sister's wedding over your son's life, and we told ourselves it was reasonable, that the surgery would take hours anyway, that we'd make it in time, that Oliver was young and resilient and wouldn't really remember. We were wrong about all of it. I have spent 50 years believing I was a good father, a good man. But good men don't abandon their grandchildren in operating rooms. Good men don't break promises to 7-year-olds. I know you've blocked us from the savings account. I know you left 50 cents with a note. I know Marcus and Rebecca are talking about lawyers and betrayal. They're wrong. You didn't betray anyone. We betrayed you. I'm enclosing a check for $5,000. It's not for the wedding. Rebecca's dress will work out. She'll find another way. This is for Oliver, for whatever he needs, for the medical bills or his future, or just for you to feel like you have a buffer. I don't expect this to fix anything. I don't expect your forgiveness. But I need you to know that I see what we did. I see the harm, and I am desperately, completely sorry. I love you. I love Oliver, and I promise, not with words this time, but with actions, that I will spend the rest of my life proving it. Dad. The check was clipped to the letter, $5,000, made out to me, not to Rebecca. I sat there for a long time, holding both pieces of paper, not sure what to feel. Oliver stirred. Mom? I folded the letter quickly. Hey, Bug, how are you feeling? He sat up carefully, wincing a little. Who was that from? I hesitated. Grandpa. His face did something complicated. What did he say? That he's sorry. That he loves you. Oh, he sent money. For you. Oliver looked at the check, then at me. For what? For whatever you need. He was quiet for a moment. Then, does he mean it? About being sorry? And this was the moment, I realized. The moment where I could poison him against them forever, or I could leave the door open just a crack. Just enough to let in possibility. I think he does, I said carefully. But saying sorry and proving sorry are different things. Like showing up? Exactly showing up. Oliver nodded slowly. Then, if he shows up next time, will you let him? Do you want me to? He thought about it. Maybe, if he really means it. Then I will. I promised. But he has to prove it first. They all do. Okay. He lay back down. Mom? Yeah? Thank you for staying, even when no one else did. I had to press my hand over my mouth to keep from sobbing. Always, Bug. Always. Part 8. The wedding day. Rebecca's wedding was beautiful. I know because she sent photos to my email, the only method of contact I hadn't blocked. She looked radiant in a dress that wasn't the original one, standing beside a man who clearly adored her. The venue was decorated with white roses and fairy lights. My parents stood in the background of several shots, smiling. I deleted them all, without responding. Oliver was discharged that morning. Dr. Patel gave us a list of instructions 3 pages long, covering everything from medication schedules to activity restrictions to warning signs of complications. He's going to do great, she said, ruffling Oliver's hair. You're a strong kid, you know that? I know, Oliver said, and he sounded like he believed it. We drove home in comfortable silence. I decorated the apartment with welcome home signs and stocked the fridge with all his favorite foods. His room was clean and organized, everything within easy reach. This is perfect, he said, climbing carefully into his bed. Way better than the hospital. Way better, I agreed. That evening, my phone rang. My father. I stared at the screen for a long moment, then answered. Sarah, thank you for picking up. What do you want, Dad? To apologize. Again. In person. Your mother and I want to visit Oliver, to see him. To apologize to him directly. I don't think that's a good idea. I understand, but I'm asking anyway. Not today. I know you both need rest. But soon. Please. I looked at Oliver, already half asleep in his pile of blankets and stuffed animals. I'll think about it. That's all I'm asking. He hung up. Marcus texted an hour later. Rebecca's not speaking to me. She thinks I shouldn't have gone to the hospital and pushed you. I didn't respond. Another text. She's right. I'm sorry. I should have been there for Oliver, not yelling at you. Still didn't respond. Then, I miss my nephew. I miss you. I fucked up. I put the phone down and went to check on Oliver. Part 9. New boundaries. 2 weeks later, my father called again. I'd like to come visit. He said, just me. I won't stay long. I won't push. I just want to see Oliver. To see that he's okay. I looked at my son, who was building a Lego spaceship at the kitchen table with his tongue stuck out in concentration. 1 hour, I said. And if he seems uncomfortable, you leave immediately. Agreed. And Dad, this doesn't mean everything's forgiven. This is just a start, he finished. I know. Thank you. He arrived the next day with a massive box of Legos and tears in his eyes. Oliver looked up from his spaceship, his expression guarded. Hi, Grandpa. Hi, buddy. My father's voice cracked. I'm so glad to see you. They stared at each other for a moment. Then my father got down on his knees, putting himself at Oliver's level. I need to tell you something important, okay? Can I? Oliver nodded slowly. I'm sorry, my father said. I promised to be at your surgery, and I wasn't there. I broke that promise, and that was wrong. You deserved to have family with you, and I chose something else instead. That was my mistake, not yours. And I'm really, really sorry. Oliver's eyes were wide. I can't change what happened, but I can promise to do better, to actually show up from now on. Would that be okay? If I tried to do better? I guess so. That's all I can ask for. My father held out the Lego box. I brought you something. It's a space station. Thought maybe we could build it together sometime. Oliver took the box carefully. Today? If your mom says it's okay. I nodded. They built for 2 hours. I watched from the kitchen, keeping distance but staying present. My father was careful, gentle, letting Oliver take the lead, making space for him, actually being there. When it was time to leave, Oliver hugged him. Brief, tentative, but genuine. Thanks for coming, Grandpa.
Thanks for letting me, my father said. I'll come back soon, okay? If you want me to. After he left, Oliver turned to me. Do you think he'll really come back? I think he will, I said. But if he doesn't, that's his loss, not yours. Good. Part 10. The truth. Marcus visited the next week, then Rebecca. Both apologized, both asked for forgiveness, both understood when I said it would take time. Rebecca, to her credit, didn't mention the money, didn't ask for access to the account, just sat with Oliver and listened to him talk about his surgery, his recovery, his dreams about becoming an astronaut. I'm proud of you, she told him. You're so brave. Your mom says bravery is being scared, but doing it anyway. Your mom's right. Rebecca glanced at me. She's usually right. Progress was slow. There were awkward moments, tension, conversations that ended in tears or silence. But there were also Lego builds and movie nights, and slowly, carefully, the beginnings of trust. The money stayed where it was, in my account, under my control. A boundary that held. Part 11. 6 months later. Oliver's 6-month checkup was on a Tuesday. Dr. Patel examined him thoroughly, checked all his vitals, reviewed the echocardiogram results. Perfect, she announced. He's healing beautifully. The repair is holding strong. I'd say we can reduce the follow-up appointments to once a year. Oliver pumped his fist. Yes! This is amazing news, I said, feeling the weight I'd carried for months finally start to lift.
He's a resilient kid, Dr. Patel said. You both are. In the parking lot, my phone rang. My father. How did the appointment go? Clean bill of health. Well, as clean as it gets. That's wonderful. Sarah, your mother and I were wondering, would you and Oliver like to come to dinner this weekend? Nothing big, just us. We'd love to cook for you. I looked at Oliver, who was drawing hearts on the car window with his finger. Let me ask him, I said. I covered the phone. Grandma and Grandpa want us to come for dinner. What do you think? Oliver considered it seriously. Will there be dessert? Probably. Okay then. I went back to the phone. We'll come. But Dad, I know. If anything feels wrong, you leave. No questions, no guilt. Exactly. We'll make it good. I promise. Okay. Dinner was good. Not perfect. There were moments of tension, things unsaid, old wounds that hadn't fully healed. But there was also laughter. My mother made Oliver's favorite chocolate cake. My father taught him a card game. We sat around the table and talked about small things, safe things, building slowly toward trust. As we were leaving, my mother pulled me aside. Thank you, she said quietly, for giving us another chance. This isn't forgiveness yet, I told her. It's just a start, she finished. I know. And that's enough. Part 12. The lesson. A year after the surgery, Oliver came home from school with a drawing. We had to draw our hero, he explained, unfolding the paper. Look, it was a picture of me, standing next to his hospital bed, holding his hand. The proportions were all wrong. My head was too big, my arms too long, but my face was carefully detailed. He'd given me a crown made of hearts. We had to write why, too, he said, pointing to the bottom of the page. I read it aloud. My mom is my hero because she never left me. Even when everyone else did, she stayed. She says love means showing up. That's what heroes do. My vision blurred. Oliver, do you like it? I pulled him into a hug, careful of his still healing chest. I love it. I love you so much. I love you too, Mom. That night, I hung the drawing on the refrigerator with a magnet shaped like a heart. Every time I looked at it, I remembered why the boundaries mattered, why the 50 cents meant something. Because love isn't just words. It's not promises made in comfortable moments. Love is showing up. Love is staying. Love is choosing someone when it costs you something. My family was learning that. Slowly, imperfectly, but learning. And Oliver, brave, resilient, beautiful Oliver, would never again question whether he was worth showing up for. Because I'd shown him, every single day, that he was. Epilogue. The savings account still has 50 cents in it. I never closed it, never removed the memo for the veil. Rebecca saw it once, months later, when I showed her my phone for something else. You kept it, she said quietly, as a reminder of how badly we messed up. Of what matters, I corrected. Of what I'll protect, always. She nodded slowly. I understand. Do you? I'm starting to. The account sits there, a monument to the day I chose my son over everything else. The day I learned that sometimes love means letting people face the consequences of their choices. The boundaries aren't walls. They're bridges that only let through people who've earned the right to cross. My father crosses regularly now. My mother too. Marcus is getting there. Rebecca's still learning, but she's trying. And Oliver? Oliver is thriving. His scar is fading. Just a thin line down his chest that he says makes him look like a warrior. He plays soccer, carefully, and builds elaborate Lego cities and dreams about space. He knows what it means when people show up. And he knows, without question, that I always will. That's worth more than $50,000. That's worth everything.